service, and education equity continue to inspire the work on behalf of all the students. On behalf of the Board Trustees, Dr. Borrego, I welcome all of those in attendance. We appreciate your presence as we recognize student achievement and conduct the importance of business in our district. At this time, I officially call the January 20, 2026 meeting of the Canutillo Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. The time is 6 p.m. Adrian, would you please call to roll?
Item 1D. Ms. Barnes?
Present.
Ms. Borrego?
Present.
Ms. Maldonado?
Present.
Mr. Martinez?
Present.
Mrs. Ortega?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez? Mrs. Zúñiga?
Here.
Moises Aguirre?
Present.
Mason Cassette?
Present.
Item 1B. Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm going to call for our students, Canutillo High School and Northwest Early College, to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
one state, under God, one indivisible.
Item 1E. CISD Vision and Mission Statements.
Ms. Borrego, will you please lead us in the vision? And Mr. Rodriguez in the mission statement, please.
Go ahead. I'll go with the mission statement. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We provide equitable opportunities to ensure our future-ready students are empowered to explore, learn, grow, and excel.
Our vision is lead today, impact tomorrow.
Thank you to both.
Item number 2. Board Honors. Item 2A. Recognition of Dr. Jessica Arellano for her service as Interim Superintendent of the Canutillo Independent School District. Presenter, Mr. Gustavo Reveles.
Board President Martinez, members of the board, and Dr. Borrego, please join us in front of the dais as we begin this month's honors. First one to begin. There we go. I want to begin by welcoming Dr. Borrego. Dr. Borrego, bienvenido a Canutillo ISD, the best small school district in Texas. On behalf of our central office team, it is my pleasure to welcome you as part of the official Viva Canutillo team. Well, our first honor this evening recognizes an educator who, for the past 6 months, has led our district with strength, steadiness, and heart. During a critical period of transition, Dr. Jessica Arellano stepped forward to guide Canutillo ISD, bringing us to this moment as we welcome our new superintendent of schools. Dr. Arellano was selected by the Board of Trustees from a field rich with talent and commitment, and her appointment was immediately met with enthusiasm across our community. Teachers, staff, parents, and alumni alike expressed their confidence and excitement in seeing Dr. Arellano at the helm. That confidence was well placed. Dr. Arellano helped launch the school year, set clear goals and expectations for educators, students, and families, and navigated what felt like a nonstop series of challenges impacting our schools. Through it all, she led with grace, grit, and expertise. Tonight, we thank Dr. Arellano for her service as interim superintendent, a role she embraced with energy and pride. She is Canutillo through and through, a resident, a parent, and a lifelong employee who bleeds orange and blue and teal and black for her beloved Northwest Early College Griffins. Thank you, Dr. A, for your leadership. Because of you, we are stronger and better prepared for the next chapter of our district's legacy. Dr. Arellano, please come up. Quick photo, please. Please, in the middle. Trustees, I'm going to now ask you to take a seat in the reserved seats as we are going to honor you one by one. Dr. Borrego, please stay up here. January is Texas School Board Recognition Month, a time to celebrate the extraordinary men and women who step up to lead our public schools. Here in Canutillo ISD, we are fortunate to be guided by 7 dedicated community leaders who serve without pay, often under intense scrutiny, and always with students at the center of their work. They are, of course, our Canutillo ISD Board of Trustees. This year's theme, Our Future is Public, perfectly reflects the role of our trustees, the role that our trustees play in shaping the future of public education. At a time when public schools face complex challenges, our board continues to lead with vision, courage, and a commitment to creating meaningful opportunities that prepare students for college, careers, and life beyond the classroom. To express our appreciation, campuses and departments have prepared thoughtful gifts, small tokens representing the immense pride we feel in being part of a district led by such dedicated individuals. Let us now recognize and celebrate each trustee for their unique contributions. Board President Sergio Martinez. President Martinez, as a proud Westway native, you are a shining example of Canutillo's success. Your lifelong dedication to improving the lives of students, both professionally and personally, reflects your belief that strong public schools are essential to progress in our region. Presenting your gift basket and a certificate are, please come up, members of the leadership teams from Canutillo High School and Northwest Early College High School. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. We'll take, Jose's gonna help us with that. Board Vice President Lily Maldonado. Ms. Maldonado, few people have served Canutillo ISD with the depth and breadth that you have. As a former student, lifelong resident, devoted parent, longtime educator, and now trustee, your service has touched generations of Canutillo students. We are deeply grateful. Presenting your gift basket and certificate are members of the Canutillo Elementary School leadership team. Board Secretary Cindy Zúñiga. Ms. Zúñiga, you represent the living legacy of Canutillo. As an alumna, business leader, community volunteer, and parent, your impact extends far beyond the dais and into the daily lives of our students and schools. Presenting your gift basket and certificate are members of the Davenport Elementary School leadership team. Trustee Breanne Barnes. Ms. Barnes, your experience and insight continue to shape thoughtful decision-making on this board. Your commitment to elevating the parent voice and your background as an educator ensure that students remain at the center of every discussion. Presenting your gift basket are members of the Garcia Elementary School leadership team. Trustee Lucy Borrego. Ms. Borrego, your expertise in instruction and school administration is invaluable. Your deep knowledge ensures that effective teaching and learning remain at the heart of everything we do. Presenting your gift basket and certificate are members of the Reyes Elementary School leadership team. Aesthetics. Oh. Trustee Carolina Ortega. Ms. Ortega, you embody the spirit of advocacy and leadership. As a devoted mother and PTO parent, your passion for student success and high-quality education is not only inspiring, it is powerful. Presenting your gift basket and certificate are members of the Canutillo Middle School leadership team. Trustee Armando Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, your decades of service have left an undeniable mark on Canutillo ISD. As a nationally recognized leader in school governance, your passion for education and for this community continues to inspire us all. Presenting your gift basket are members of the Alderete Middle School leadership team. Canutillo ISD is proud to be a leader in elevating student voice, and the inclusion of student advisors to our board of trustees show our commitment goes above and beyond. Our student advisors play a vital role, offering insight, perspective, and partnership in the boardroom. We are happy to recognize them today as vital members of the Board of Trustees experience in Canutillo ISD. Student Advisor Moises Aguirre. Moises, you are a natural leader and a passionate advocate for equity and what is right. Balancing the demands of your senior year with this responsibility is no small task, yet you approach it with purpose and effectiveness. Presenting your gift basket are leaders from Damian Elementary School. Mom is here too. Mom, come up. Student Advisor Mason Gossett. Mason, leading a large 5A campus is no easy feat, yet you do so with confidence, collaboration, and a positive spirit. You consistently speak up for your peers and help unite students across our district. Presenting your basket are leaders from Childress Elementary School. Mom's here too? Mom, come up. I'm so sorry. I hadn't spotted you. Can we do a group photo with all board members, please? Sorry.
I was thinking the students when you go with the superintendent and then officers and then
Yeah. Sorry, Ms. Maldonado.
One, two, and three. 1, 2, and 3.
All right, Canantillo.
On behalf of the entire Canutillo ISD family, thank you to our trustees for your leadership, dedication, and service. Please join us in giving them a well-deserved round of applause again and wishing them a very happy School Board Recognition Month. Thank you. Board President Martinez, members of the board, and Dr. Borrego, this concludes this month's board honors. Thank you, y que viva Canutillo.
Through the chair, may I?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone for this great recognition. And I want to recognize someone behind the scenes who keeps us going for every meeting, who is continuously keeping us up to date. Well, actually, 2 people, keeping us up to date with everything that's going on throughout the district. First and foremost, Mr. Adrian. Thank you so much, Adrian.
Thank you, Ms. Maldonado.
And second, Mr. Gustavo. Thank you for all the updates. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maldonado.
Item number 3, open forum. Any person wishing to address the board during the period reserved for public comment at a board meeting must sign up to be heard in accordance with District Policy BED Local. Each participant will be limited to 3 minutes to make comments to the board. The board is not permitted to discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on the agenda for tonight's meeting. For further information on these policies, contact the superintendent's administrative assistant. And Mr. President, we have one community member sign up for today. This will be Ms. Andrea Esparza with a thank you to the board.
I know nobody wants to clap because I'm the only one, but that's okay. And I'll be quick. But Dr. Borrego, welcome. President Martinez, board members. I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you for the opportunity to be the principal at Canotillo Middle School. Canotillo Elementary, I know I have some people here, and so they weren't too happy, but I love them anyway. But I know that we're going to do great things at Canotillo Middle School, and I appreciate that opportunity, and I welcome you with open arms and open doors to come in anytime you would like, to see what's going on in the campus, to be involved in the campus, and for us to go and move forward together. So I appreciate it and look forward to what's to come. So thank you.
Item number 4, special presentation. Item 4A, review of academic performance of students with disabilities receiving special education services. House Bill 2 compliance requirements by Ms. Melissa Mena and the SPED Department.
All right, well, good evening, board, board president, board trustees, and Dr. Borrego. It's very nice to meet you. My name is Melissa Mena, and it is a privilege and an honor to be your... Sorry, I wanted to stand first before. But it is a privilege and an honor to be your special education director here at Canotillo ISD.
Good evening, board. I'm Brenda Matamoros. I'm your transition behavior facilitator for the District of Canotillo.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide. Thank you so much, Adrian. So with the Texas legislature that just happened, the 89th Texas legislature with House Bill 2, there was a requirement that now that the board needs to be aware of the performance of students receiving special education services. There is going to be continued guidance from TEA on what the parameters of that needs to be, but nevertheless, we wanted to move forward and give you all the feedback on and a picture of where we're at right now with our district, with our students receiving special education services. So our biggest component when we're looking at performance for our students is under the results-driven accountability. And so we just received the results of our results-driven accountability. And there's 3 domains that we were looking at for our students. And this was the academic achievement domain, the post-secondary readiness domain, and then also with our disproportionate analysis. So we did get those results and wanted to review those with you. Okay, so under each domain, there are what we call performance levels in each section that is reviewed. And those performance levels go from anywhere from a 0 to a 4. So the performance level of 0 being the best rating, if you will, and then performance level 4, meaning that that is the largest separation between performance with our students receiving special education services with the rest of our grade level population. And then with that, there is a composite score, if you will, with a overall determination level with our district for our group of students. Okay, so the first part we're going to look at is with the academic achievement results, and we're looking at STAR 3 through 8. And so with those results, there are cutoff scores, and then there's a rate, and then there's also the number of students who pass and the number of students who participated in those in the STAR for 3 through 8. As we look at the results, we've noticed that our performance level did decrease in our areas of the math and RLA and science and social studies. And one of those components we will let you know about as to why those numbers did decrease, and also what we're going to be doing about that as a district. Okay. And then here are our EOC scores for our students as well. So we were really excited to see that our students receiving special education services did improve in the areas of math. So we were excited about that. Their numbers did decrease with the biology, U.S. history, and English 1 and 2. But like I said, we do have a plan of action to support our students and support our teachers in moving forward and getting those scores increased. Okay, so one of the components I had wanted to let y'all know about is with our STAR Alt 2. So with the 23-24 school year, the requirements for participating in STAR Alt 2 changed. And with those with the participation requirements, our students now have to require intensive supports across all domains, not just some domains, if you will. So with that, our numbers were decreased dramatically. And so the students have a choice of either participating in STAR Alt 2 or with just our STAR. Okay, so as we look, this is just a bar graph from 23, 24, and 25, and you could see the change in participation for students that were taking STAR Alt 2 from 2023, and then the impact of the change with those requirements to where we are at now. Okay, so this is our super exciting part, and this is post-secondary readiness. So I am proud to say that our district knocked it out of the ballpark in terms of getting our students to graduate and to have our students remain here and not drop out. So with that, of course, I congratulate our high school and all of the efforts that led to that achievement with our elementary and with our middle schools. And I'm also going to have Brenda Matamoros, who is one of our facilitators, talk about the impact of the work-based learning opportunities that our students have participated in, that have enabled our students to graduate and to move forward and to be ready for post-secondary success.
Thank you. So we are very fortunate here at Ganutillo to have an extreme amount of programming for our post-secondary, for our special education students. We are able to have our Project Search program, which we partner with the Trans Mountain campus for Providence. We have interns that are housed there that do rotations for a year. That is one of our work-based learning programs. We are also fortunate enough to have our Goodwill EDS program at our high school. It is embedded within the high school. It is a full-fledged retail store that also has 7 to 8 students running each semester, learning all of the retail business. We also have our Eagles Workshop. We're partnering up with Student Support Services, and we are embedding our students to be able to help our community, to create food pantry baskets, to be able to have the community closet organized, be able to assemble baskets for them as well, which is all work-based learning. So we are fortunate enough to have all of those programs combined within our district. I don't want to talk about the 3 big districts, but we outrank them on our work-based learning. So yay, Ganutillo. And we're very fortunate to be able to say that our students are being prepared to go into the workforce or go into college or career readiness when they graduate from Ganutillo ISD, when they're in special education with us.
Thank you, Brenda. Okay, so then the third domain is with our disproportionate analysis. And the biggest factor for us is in the area of least restrictive environment. So we do want our students to be having access to grade level curriculum and progressing with the grade level curriculum as much as possible, as much as we can, because we know that's where the learning is taking place, right? We know that we have the exposure to the grade level TEKS. With our overall ranking right now, we are above the percentage of students that are outside of the general ed setting. So that is one area that we are going to work on as well, is with lowering that percentage so that we could have more students with their general ed peers across the curriculum. Okay. Okay, we'll continue to the. Okay, so overall for this year, our composite score is at a determination level 3, which requires intervention. And so what that means is that we create what we call a strategic support plan that is provided to TEA, and we review with TEA what our next plans of action are with improving our performance for our students. So the strategic support plan was due to TEA back on December the 19th, and then we are going to review the plan with them virtually tomorrow. Okay, with our plan, there were 2 main priority areas that we're addressing, and one is with the academic achievement, of course, with the STAR 3 through 8, and with our EOC English 1 and 2. And then the second priority area is with our least restrictive environment and getting that percentage to be lowered. A lot of what we did with our strategic support plan is in alignment with our district improvement plan. And so when we're looking at our percentage of increase in the areas that we're going to focus on, it is naturally aligned with what we're doing as a district as well. So there are many different areas we had to look at in creating the strategic support plan. And like I said earlier, we looked a lot at our district improvement plan, our highly qualified, but our high quality instructional materials, and also with our previous RDA data as well. Okay, and so like I stated earlier, we looked at our priority areas, the problem statements, the review of our scores over the past 3 years, and determining the specific areas that we were going to focus on. Okay, and this is the one that I had talked about, and this is where we're looking at increasing our percentage of STAR passing 3 through 8. With our core areas, with the reading and the math, and that's going from 37.6 to 42.6% increase. And then with our English 1 and English 2 EOC with the 19.1 to 24.1 increase. Okay, so we also created an outline of strategies and implementation to support our efforts in having an increase in our STAR scores. And a lot of that is surrounded with our grade level alignment. So I am proud to say that as soon as the school year started, we did a lot of alignment with special education and with our curriculum and instruction department. We wanted to make sure that all of our students, all of our teachers, had the access to the HQIMs. And also there were site coaching support visits through both curriculum and instruction and with special education, and making sure that our teachers understood those curriculum, those pieces with the curriculum. Okay, also is with alignment through our other district initiatives, including our MTSS, which we're in the middle of revising our handbook. And that, of course, as we know with our MTSS supports, that is the basis of all of our supports for all of our students. So really working on alignment with our tiered 1, 2, and 3 supports. Here with our second annual goal, we are looking at that least restrictive environment, and we're looking at decreasing from a 21.7 to a, 16.7%, so having that drop. Okay, and then we also have the implementation with that. We are creating the district-wide expectation of our inclusive practices for our students, also with the co-teaching model, which we know is the best model of inclusive practices for our students that are in the general education setting. And then once again, we're looking at alignment with our MTSS. Okay. So this is just a fun, long list of what we've been doing so far. And one of the areas that I had mentioned earlier is the SPED alignment with our district initiatives to also include TNTP, which is the New Teacher Project, also with Texas Read, Texas Leads, which is TXRL, and also having those campus-based HQuIM supports with our CNI department, specifically with our English and our math coordinators. Also providing professional development and support to our special education teachers, whether they're teaching in the self-contained setting or within the general ed setting, on the best practices, and also with the best practices with inclusive support for our students. Okay, also there's been alignment with our graduation, CCMR, CTE, supporting our students that are within those programs so that we could get those rates improved as well. Okay. Also collaboration with our student support services, in addition to our CNI, and looking at providing best practices across all areas for all of our students, and that's through our district MTSS meeting. Also, we have our individual teacher follow-ups and coaching, and then also parent support through our Faces of Support meeting, and then also with any other professional developments that are available for them. Okay, and then the next area is just a breakdown of our numbers. Here within our district, our numbers have increased. We've looked at about an increase of about 100 students. So we started off last school year with a total of 688 students receiving special education, and now our number has increased actually to 784 as of today. So our numbers have gone up, and as we know, our population is growing, our area is expanding, and so with that is coming with the additional need for more capacity to support our students as well. Okay, and the other breakdown is just our special education students by primary disability. A majority of our students receive support under the disability of a specific learning disability and a speech impairment. The number one specific learning disability that our students require support with is in the area of reading. Okay, and then there's this overall breakdown of our special education numbers by campus. One of the things here at our district is at the elementary level, we have our self-contained settings at one campus. And so with that, the numbers may vary quite largely, depending. So for instance, Garcia Elementary is home to the instructional skills classroom setting. And at this point, we're looking at housing about 41 of our students within that one campus within the instructional skills self-contained setting. On another note, we have Davenport Elementary, where they house our behavior intervention class self-contained setting. And that at this point right now is we are housing 10 of our students, and we're expecting to have about 2 or 3 more. And then at CES, we house our developmental skills classroom setting, and that's broken apart from K through 2 and then 3 through 5. So different ones. Then when we get to the middle school, we have our settings separated between Alderete Middle School and Canutillo Middle School. So Alderete Middle School is home to our developmental skills setting class and also our structured learning setting class. And then also our students who work on their adaptive living skills. And then Canutillo Middle School is home to our instructional skills setting class and also with our behavior intervention class. And then of course, Canutillo High School gets all of our settings. Okay, and this is just a further review of the breakdown of basically what I talked about, is where the population of our students and where they're at from campus to campus.
Can you bring that back down for a second?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And so lastly, we take a look at the amounts overall. If we get that composite number, we look at our overall percentage of students receiving modified coursework who are receiving special education services by campus as well. And so really wanting to focus on our students that receive inclusion, our students that receive resource, and seeing where we can kind of close those gaps as much as possible, while also making sure our students continue to receive the specially designed instruction that they're needing. Okay. Lastly, this is also the year for us to have our TEA cyclical monitoring meeting with TEA. And so every 5 years, every district gets an audit, if you will, of their IEPs and also of their evaluations. And so it is our year this year. And so the audit period it started this month and will go on until March. And so TEA will be reviewing 16 folders that we're aware of now, and we'll be sifting through each and every part. So we will be meeting with them in April with regards to the results of our IEP developments and with our evaluation practices. So that will be happening concurrently as well. Okay, so what we've done so far to get our district ready for the cyclical review is a lot with the IEP development, professional development, and also with the coaching for our teachers. Also, we have our educational diagnosticians who review our IEPs just to spot check and make sure that we're following the requirements and including the elements that need to be within the IEPs. And then also with our assistants from Region 19 on looking at the IEP development and making sure we're following through with those elements as well. Okay. So with this, as indicated earlier, we are growing, which is a very exciting thing for us as a district. So with that, we continue to want to meet the needs of our students, but we do have staffing shortages and trying to fill vacancies, the combining of responsibilities and competitive pay that we work with. One of the things that we love to talk about with our district here at Canutillo is that this is the only district that you'll come to where there's heart. And love to say that with pride, because our teachers truly do care. Our principals care, our assistant principals, everybody. They want to help our students, and it's not, oh, great, what do we have to do now? It's, Melissa, we want to know, how can we step in? And I do want to say that it truly has been such a privilege and an honor so far since within my 5 months of being here, as working cross-collaboratively with our departments and everyone being on the same page with improving all of our students, including our special education students. And with our other districts, we don't see that a lot. There tends to be more of the silo action. And here from the get-go, it's been what can we do to help our kids improve? So I think that speaks volumes of where we're gonna go and how we're gonna move forward as we continue to grow as a district. So wanted to make sure that I did include that as well with my information for y'all. So thank y'all so much. Thank you for everything that you do for us. Happy Board Appreciation Month. We appreciate you most definitely, and thank you for the opportunity for us to serve this community.
Mr. President?
Oh, go ahead.
Sure. Okay. Hi, how are
Hi.
you? You thought you were just going to say thank you, and that was it. I was going to have questions. Can you go back to that slide that I asked? I'll tell you, please. So welcome, by the way, and
Thank
it's
you
good
so
to
much.
have you here, and you have a tough job. I know. So I'm a little concerned at looking at this, and I almost want to see that flipped the other way around, where the most enrollment is in class supports. Now, I think that's where kids learn best, in my professional opinion, in my humble opinion. So I have a couple of questions for you. In-class supports is small, but research shows that kids do better and learn better. And I'm saying this because in grades 3 through 8, we're struggling, so something's not jiving there, number one. So my question is, it's kind of multi-part, when we train teachers, do the regular ed teachers and the sped teachers train together on as a team? You might not have the answer as that. how do we train, we're always really good at training special ed teachers how to teach math and all that, but what do we do to help regular ed teachers that are in that in-class supports class, co-teaching class, or whatever we call it these days? What are we doing to help them understand the special needs learner? And is it more a teacher aid look, or is it a true co-teaching model? All those questions, and you don't have to answer them now, but I think those are all questions that you all need to look at, because I feel that's where the struggle is in 3 through 8 in math and reading, and you might already know this and you're 5 months in. And whoever does the staff development, we really need to look at making sure that they're training together, regular ed teachers and special ed teachers, and also that we're training those regular ed teachers on how to meet the needs of our special ed kids. I don't need you to answer it or anything, because you're probably like, oh, this lady. But I think it's really things that we should look at, because I really think that should be completely almost reverse. And it might be different, but in-class supports should not be the smallest one. It should probably be the biggest one, because we don't need a lot. It's basic SPED 101, how kids learn 101, is they need to be together, and they need to be high expectations, but both teachers need to be trained in that. So that's my 2 cents.
No,
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And I do apologize with the misinterpretation of the graph. So it was just a visual to show our continuum of supports and not to show how much is within each section. So I do apologize for that.
Okay, so with that, do you think you could, in our next packet, get us numbers of how many, like what percentage of our kids are in class supports? And you know, again, I'm gonna ask questions. I'm not a fan of resource. But anyway, instructional skills class, I get it. So if we could just get some more information, maybe statistically or by percentages
Yes,
for
ma'am,
students.
of course. And I do have a simple bar graph, and it is by exact numbers, and it has the breakdown of our students receiving in-class supports, but I can most definitely get you a percentage. Thank you. Yes, of course, no problem.
Through the chair.
Ms. Maldonado, go ahead.
Hi. I do have a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll piggyback off of what Ms. Borrego said, because when you go to your annual goal for priority area 3, least restrictive,
Yes, ma'am.
you're saying that settings less than 40% of the day will decrease from 21.7 to 16.7. Clarify that for me. Is that saying that you're going to have less students in the least restrictive?
No, ma'am. We're going to have more students in the least restrictive.
Okay.
Yes, it's confusing to me, because there are 2 areas that we look at. So students who are in the general education setting, at least greater or equal to an 80%, and then students who are within, that are out of the general education setting at greater or equal to 40%. And so right now, our numbers of students that are out of the general education setting more is higher. So we're trying to bring that one down, which is the 40%.
Out of the general setting?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
ma'am.
that threw me off.
Yes,
So you're
I'm-
actually trying to increase the number of students in your regular general setting
Yes,
type
ma'am.
thing? Okay. And then, going back to, first of all, we still have a star alt 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that differs a little bit from the regular star?
Yes, it differs a lot.
A lot.
Yes, so those, for the Starlet 2, those administrations are one-on-one with the administrator and the student, and it can be broken up into many different parts depending on the needs of the student, and the format and the questioning are completely different.
And the students that are in the least restrictive will be taking probably the regular star,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then on your goals again for priority area number 1, academic achievement. I noticed that your ELAR or your reading, it's kind of from 33.5 to 38.5. However, your mathematics is going from 37.6 to 42.6. That's a little higher points, is it obtainable?
And so I apologize though those numbers are off. We were looking at sticking to the modest or humble 5%. So we were looking at the 5% improvement as a benchmark, and that was in alignment with our district improvement plan as well, looking at that benchmark of 5%. And so that was between the reading and the math.
And how about for the EOC? Because it's the same thing. So you're
Yes.
sticking to 5%?
Yes, but we
as far as
definitely
that
wanna-
increase in the goal?
Yes. But we
In
definitely
all
wanna-
areas?
Yes. Definitely want to go over that though.
Of course.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
My next question has to do with strategies and implementation.
Yes.
What is LRE?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Least restrictive environment.
Oh,
We have
hello.
so many acronyms.
Hello, Ms. Maldonado. What is MTSS?
Multi-tiered systems of support.
Now you know how I feel with CHS,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I've been out of the
new-
classroom too
New
long.
generation, but the same stuff. Just
Been out of the
different
classroom too long.
acronyms.
All right, and then on your silical monitoring or your review, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It says that the report of findings is non-compliance, corrections, overview of corrective action. What area is non-compliance?
So we don't know yet. So we are in the middle of getting all of the folders that they've requested submitted. And so we're putting all the different pieces that are required into our Ascend database. And then if they need clarifications, they'll let us know towards the end of February. And then April will give us our final, what we may be, what we're in compliance with, what we can have the chance to correct. And then if we need to move forward, knock on wood, with a corrective action plan, then we do it at that point.
Can you please, once you get it in April, the findings, can you please submit to the board what was in compliance and what was the
Yes.
findings,
Yes,
please?
of course, yes.
And my last well, no, actually two questions. You said that staffing is, we have a shortage, which we all know. Is this in teachers, in special education teachers, or
Yes. all-
office personnel, or what?
So both with our teachers and our teacher assistants. It's, we know that we always want to be prepared and to have a range to support our students in our self-contained settings. But, when the way the outlook in September may look very different in now. And so the numbers, we're supporting our teachers and our teacher assistants as much as we can, but when we have a self-contained setting and the number is as high as 15 to almost 20, it becomes very, very difficult to keep with that specially designed instruction for our students.
So with that, of our special education population, how many students are transfers? Do you know that?
That's a great question, and I do not know that, but I will look that up most
Okay,
definitely.
I'd appreciate that. And the last question, because you mentioned the shortage and stuff. So what is the student to teacher ratio for each class? For your resource, your ISC, for your BIC, your ECSE, your SLC, and your DSC? What is the student to teacher ratio in each of those classes?
So what I did down at the bottom portion of the PowerPoint, I created just a simple bar graph in showing the numbers of our students enrolled in each of those areas. And each campus will differ on the total number of staff that they have. For instance, back at Garcia Elementary, they have 3 teachers that cover a total of 41 students ranging from K through 5 that need the instructional skills classroom type of setting. There are and then I know our wonderful principals are here, so if there's anything additional, please feel free. But we do have teacher assistants with that, but we definitely need additional support for that, for our students. And then the same with our high school as well. I know we are short 2 assistants at this time at the high school, and we're continuing to get those, try to get those filled.
Can you also, where you broke down by number for each program at Garcia, at Bill Childress, at Damian, at all these that are servicing our special population, can you give us a report as to, we know what program it is, but can you tell us how many students, if it's included in there, how many students, but can you tell us, like, for instance, what is the student-to-teacher ratio for that particular area?
Yes, ma'am. I will
Please.
work on that, yes.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, of
That's it,
course.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else?
Sorry, I have a couple.
It's okay.
So, do you know whether or not our general ed teachers are planning in PLCs with their special ed co-teachers?
So we do have some, not all, and we are working on that. I
Okay.
know this is the season of master scheduling.
Yeah,
And so we have had those discussions, and our admin, are working at trying to align that as much as they can.
And speaking of schedules, one thing that has always driven me crazy as an educator is I felt like the special ed schedules were always done last, and that never made sense to me. It makes so much more sense. Legally, we have to make sure that those students are receiving the correct number of minutes, right, for their, and a lot of times it's very hard to make that happen because our schedules do not align. And so I don't know if, Dr. Borrego, if that's something that we can look at and plan with our special ed departments looking ahead for next year. I really think our schedules should be based on the special ed student schedule and then fill in the gaps from there for our teachers, because it's vital that we're filling those minutes, and sometimes it gets really hard to do that. And we see our special ed teachers all stressed out knowing that they don't have their minutes that they need for specific children, especially when we have, extra programs or something that gets thrown in, throws off their whole schedule. So I would really appreciate that. I don't know if the board agrees to that, but that's just something to consider if you want to talk that out with your team as you're planning for next year.
So thank you, Ms. Barnes. That's something we've already started to look at scheduling for next year, getting ahead. We know that when you're making schedules, it's best to start in the spring. You also look at allocation, so it would address a lot of the problems. We brought this up in cabinet today, and so thank you for highlighting that. We're starting to work the problem.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And just to add, Ms. Barnes, I've been out of the classroom from Canutillo for 3 years, and I know that at least at Canutillo Elementary, our schedule revolved around special ed and
Good.
504.
And
I
I'm
don't know
only
about the other
speaking.
campuses, but our regular schedule for teachers, like my math when I
Right.
taught it and all that, revolved around
Good.
SPED.
Yes.
I'm
and
glad to hear that.
504.
Good.
Yes,
And we need to, in my opinion, I think we would need to continue doing that. I think it's in the best interest of the students that need the most intervention to make sure that they're getting that time.
Yes.
So thank you for that,
And
Ms.
thank you
Maldonado.
so much for that, Ms. Barnes. Just want to also include that the administration and us met the first day we got back from school for this semester, and we did discuss the master scheduling and how to really, what the best practice is for trying to get those co-teaching models within our master scheduling. And all of them were definitely aware, and they know that, the best practice is to get our students rostered in first so we can make sure that we're good to go.
Definitely.
And so we are going to provide them with the schedule of services and a projection so they can already start working on that. And we're going to get that to them no later than February.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome.
So my other question was actually something that Ms. Maldonado touched on in regard to filling us in when we find out where we're in compliance, where we're not. I'm not sure whether or not that will be a full report to the board like this, or if it will just be in a Thursday packet, but a thorough report on that would be good to know where we're at. So thank you.
Yes, of course.
Anybody else? Go ahead, because I have a comment also.
Just, I have 2 questions. One in regards to, do we have any safeguards in place to ensure that students have access to quality CCNR pathways, especially our special ed students?
Yes, and so that is where our work-based learning comes in, and where we can get the coding of the 08, and that really helps us with our CCMR Also, our high school has been working with our Region 19 colleagues and getting additional feedback and support on CCMR and what that looks like for our special education students and with the graduation coding so that we can make sure that those are as accurate as possible and reflective.
And I guess since you mentioned additional support, the follow-up the question, which is now a follow-up question in regards to TA or the state, will they be providing any additional support and or type of services so that way we could address especially school districts with students that have high needs and or districts that do have a greater amount of students?
So I do know with House Bill 2, we are supposed to receive additional funding. I don't know if I can joke, but I guess it's like TA saying the check is in the mail. But we haven't received, we're waiting to see where that funding is going to fall in place.
That's looking at just 1,000, right, or something like
So
that?
there's one with initial evaluations that are conducted, so we're supposed to receive a certain percentage for each individual evaluation. And then they just issued out a survey to the community, to the public, on thoughts on how to determine funding for our students based on their services. So now it's no more gone are the days with the funding for class numbers, but it's more on what is the level of services that the students are receiving. So one of the questions on the survey is that something that should be discussed at an ARD committee, or is that something that needs to be discussed within our internal dialogue? And so that's one thing we're waiting on as well.
I guess, and the last follow-up question in regards to TA is since there are the rulemaking authority after the legislator passed a law, when are they going to provide those final guidance? Is it still going to be within this year, or are they looking at extending that?
I sure do hope so. I have not received feedback yet, but I'll follow up with our regional special education director to see what he's found out from TEA, if there's any update with that, but we're still awaiting for that guidance.
Thank you.
I have one more question really quickly to tie to that, but
Go ahead, Ms. Borrego.
just really
You have the
quickly because
floor.
it's tied to that. What role do you play in the SHARS? I brought this up maybe 2 years ago because I don't think the amount of money we're bringing in for SHARS, the billing, is accurate in this district. I brought it up. I made some suggestions. I would like us to look at that, Dr. Borrego, because I think we can make a lot more with SHARS. It takes more work on their side a little bit, but the money that comes in, excuse me, is great. And I don't think that we're in Canutillo making the amount of money that we should be making with SHARS. And what role do you play in that?
So we do have an assistant, and that is her sole responsibility, if you will, is taking care of our Medicaid billing. And so we used to source with TASB, but now that portion is now under another area called Relay, and that's who we source with for the Medicaid funding. And she does the continual follow-ups with all of our therapists and evaluators. Anywhere where we could have the chance for Medicaid billing, she goes over the policies and procedures. We make sure that we have the consent also on file with our parents for the Medicaid, and then she also sends continual reminders to our staff, and they know to get that information in within 7 days of the therapy that's been provided.
And Ms. Pulley, do we track the buses, kids who ride the bus, everything? Okay, just something to look at, Dr. Borrego.
Go ahead, Ms. Maldonado.
Enlighten me, please. SHARS.
SHARS. So it's a way that we, our kiddo, you want to explain it to you, you'll do a better job probably than me.
No, you're on, I'm testing you.
Okay.
No,
so
but I really
SHARS
want to know.
No, seriously. SHARS is a way that we bill kids that are special needs and the services that we give to them, and it gives us money back. And I don't understand the whole entire concept, but it's through Medicaid. Like, for example, if a special needs student uses the bus, we get some money refunded back from that, but you have to log it. So there's logging, what she was talking about, the logging. Did I do it justice, más o menos?
it was
Okay.
excellent. Thank you.
And so that's what knowing SHARS and making sure that we're truly doing it correctly brings money. I don't think that we get the amount of money that we should be getting. I don't know where you come from. Do you think that's an accurate allocation when you saw it? I don't know. And maybe I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm going to leave it there. But it's a way to bill kids, and they give us money for those kids. But you have to, like she said, they have one aide that does, or one clerk that does the Medicaid billing, the therapists, and it takes more work on our side, but it's pennies coming in. And when I say pennies, like good pennies, they really are.
Thank you. You did an awesome job. Thanks.
Thanks, ma'am.
Ms. Mena, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that your student population has increased from 688 to 784.
Yes, sir.
That's about 4 teachers and 4 teachers aide, if I'm not mistaken. How are you handling that?
Prayer. No, grace. We're handling it. Yeah, you have me there, but we are working with our campuses. We know that our number one drive is to support our students regardless. And they're with us, so we're gonna work with the families, we're gonna work with our teachers. We have a lot of different types of follow-ups at each campus depending on what the situation is, and we're just trying to survive each day and knowing that we're all on the same page to support our students. But I apologize, I don't have,
And Ms. Mena, my next question is, you went from 688 to 784. Is that in a period of one school year?
yes, sir,
Wow.
yes.
The next question is the district providing you the adequate facilities for your students and your teachers?
And so we do have, our campuses, and where our settings are assigned. In terms of feedback on the facilities themselves, I'll need to get with our principals to find out what their feedback is on the actual facilities, because we've been going so full force on the instructional components and then making sure that our students are safe. When there's any other concerns, whether it's behavior or sensory driven, that's really been our main factor. But I can definitely seek out feedback on the actual facilities.
Thank you, Ms. Mena.
Yes, sir.
My last question, my last comment, Dr. Borrego, let's look to see if we provided enough space for our special ed students on the 3 new campuses that we're building. And, bring Ms. Mena to the table to be part of solving this issue, because I think it's critical. We need to make sure that our students are measured with the same stick, all of our students, okay, please. And I think that's important to this board, and I hope I'm speaking on behalf of the board. They are important. Those are important kids to us, for us, and we need to take care of them just like any other kid up there.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, and I did just realize I have one more question. So on the breakdown where it talks about numbers by primary disability, I saw that a majority of them are under SLD. Is that speech language disability, or am I totally wrong? I was just guessing.
Yeah, no problem. So it's a specific learning disability.
Specific
and across the
learning
state, that is our number one disability. And overwhelmingly, it's in the area of reading for our students statewide.
And then the next number after that is AU. Can you tell me what that is?
That is autism.
Autism.
Yes.
That's
And
hey, I did guess that one right in my head. So,
Yes.
and then OHI is the next.
Other health.
Thank you,
health impairment.
Miss Borrego. Thank you.
If I don't, I will get that for y'all.
And
Yes.
no worries. Those were the 3 that I wanted to know about. So thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Remind me to tell you about that.
Thank you very much for the report.
Thank you, President. Thank you, trustees.
Item number 5, Board of Trustees business. Item 5A, 2024 Bond Program Quarterly Report, Quarterly Update. Presenter Ernesto Ortiz and the Presidio Group.
Mr. Ortiz, thank you for being here this evening. I know you were ill.
Yeah.
Hope you're feeling a lot better.
I'm trying my
Thank you,
best.
sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Board President Martinez, thank you. Dr. Borrego, esteemed trustees of the board. For the record, my name is Ernesto Ortiz. I'm the program director for the Presidio Group. This is our quarter 4 update that will encompass September 25 all the way through December of 25. And it's my hope that I'll walk through overall program status. I'll give you an update on the budget and schedule and highlight some progress at each one of the campuses. I'll try to do it as fast and as efficient as possible. If I get slow, just kind of tell me to speed up a little bit. Before I go on, I'd like to tell you that we have had one change in our staff. Ms. Raquel Bitar was removed from the program, our program coordinator, and we have hired on Ms. Karina Romero. She's in the crowd of wave. She's our new program coordinator. That's just something that we take the charge that you've given us very seriously. And with my employees, they all know that if they don't give me 100%, then they can go work somewhere else. And so that's just something that happened, and we're glad that Ms. Karina is on board with us now and look forward to the future. So if we go to the next, this is a high-level overview since our last quarterly update. You, the board, approved multiple GMPs, one change order for Bill Childress. Of course, in September, you approved Davenport GMP and the Early College High School GMP 1. In October, you approved AMS GMP 1 and CMS GMP number 2, which were the early civil work and MEP packages, and that's going to be important to follow. And then on November, of course, the AMS and CMS GMP 2 and 3, which were the overall construction. And then again in December, the Early College High School GMP 2, which included Building C, and the Childress change order. We've had multiple coordination efforts with the WebEx system, upgrades, security camera installations, FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment, coordination across the campuses where we gathered stakeholders to get what they wanted as far as furniture and equipment and put it out for procurement, and that is on the board for approval this evening. We've had a lot of construction ongoing, especially at the renovation campuses. And if I can sort and label, you remember the high priority items are, of course, safety and security, HVAC replacement, and roof replacement and repairs. And so we've made great strides in that. And then always striving to do the best in community engagement. And most of our community engagement this past fall was doing what? Groundbreakings. We're finally breaking ground on a lot of these projects. We also had a CBAC meeting shortly after our last update, which falls in line with our cadence. We come report to the board, then we go to the CBAC, and then we go to the community at large and have a big virtual community meeting. And last but not least, we thought this was important to engage the employees here at Central Office through just inviting them to have a piece of pie with us, and we can give them an update. That was done around the holiday Thanksgiving season. We really feel that our Central Office employees are sometimes left out of the loop, and we wanted to make sure that they remain engaged in the bond program. If you go to the next one, that's just some pictures from our groundbreaking ceremonies and the community meetings that we had. These just reinforce transparency. It's your charge to us is be transparent out there, give them all the information, make sure that you're trying to engage as much as we can. And so that was our emphasis this last quarter, was to really engage them in the groundbreaking. And we had great turnouts. Public Information Office went above and beyond to make sure these were very successful. We supported them as much as we could on making sure the general contractors were there and treats were bought and drinks and all that. And I think a good time was held by all, especially at the CMS groundbreaking. Even had a petting zoo out there, which was fun. If we go to the next one, this is the overall budget. So the overall budget is $379 million. That's what we came into the program with. You have made 2.5 million in bond interest. Excluding that interest, because that's not part of the program, we are committing 91.6% so far to date. And I'll go in a little bit on the next slide on what that means. So if you look at the next slide, it's all the budgets per project. Yes, that's the right one. So you can see we're staying within the budget on each project. The unencumbered funds that you see on the far right column, it's important to note those are monies that are either earmarked for furniture, fixtures, and equipment, or it's earmarked as part of owner's contingency. And the reason we keep owner's contingency is to guard against any market fluctuations with the talk of tariffs again coming to head, and also to account for any closeout costs that we may have, or any change in scope that you, the owner, would want to create for those. There is a new line item there called program contingency at the very bottom. That program contingency was money that, after having addressed all the projects at Garcia Elementary, we had a surplus of money. And we moved that over to program contingency. And we took some of that money and moved it over to Childress. That was the change order that you approved, so that we could complete a renovation of their basketball court areas. And so there is still about $250,000 left in that program contingency, and we'll continue to, as projects close out, we'll move money down into that program contingency. And we do not use it unless we come to you for board approval. Okay? All right, the next one is probably the most important slide that you're going to see tonight.
Mr. Ortiz, I'm sorry. How much did you say was left from the contingency?
There's about $250,000. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
This next one is important because it goes over the program status, the project schedule. And that's a typo there. So the primary risk that we're encountering right now, and it's just on the new builds, is permitting with the city. Permits used to take 1 or 2 months. We're finding that they're taking four months. We have, and it's at no fault to the design team, we have been very purposeful in the way that we submit the permit set. When we get comments, it usually takes about a month and a half before we get the city comments back. Within 2 weeks, we have them addressed and sent back. And what we have found is that they're sending us they're rejecting it and sending it back to us with the same comments. So what we have started to do is actually go down to the one-stop shop, and we have had to sit there and go through the different departments as it routes. In the middle schools, we had an instance where the permit was not being cycled through the different departments because it had a grammatical error. And so we have been very purposeful in going down there and actually walking that thing through the different departments. And we feel like we're at a very good schedule right now. However, because of that, we may have an impact to our construction schedule. We are working with our general contractors to stay on. That's why it was important for us to get those early GMPs approved with the civil work. So we have work ongoing with the civil. We have grading and foundation permits. So we have building pads being constructed. And we're doing everything that we can and getting it ready so that when they are ready to go, the permits are issued, we're ready to go. Okay? On the next one, I'm going to go.
I'm sorry
Yes,
to
go ahead.
interrupt. I just want to make a comment really quickly to the board. Ms. Lilly, thank you. Ms. Maldonado, thank you so much for the questions you asked because they were very insightful. And I, too, was curious about the permits. I have
Ms.
two.
Borrego, let him finish his presentation, then you can ask the question. Please.
I'm not going to ask a question. I'm just going to give a comment on the permits. And that's it.
Let him finish, because I think we
Okay.
all have to say something about the permits, please.
Oh, okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. If you go to the next one. So first and foremost, in our program, we knew that the safety and security of our students was paramount. We took action very quickly, and we took that off of the general contractor's scope of work, and we started doing some of the work ourselves. And so this is a brief update to show you that on each one of these projects, we have completed Wi-Fi upgrades, with the exception of the high school, which we're working on right now, cameras installations, WebEx has been complete district-wide. Phase 2 was complete at all the renovation campuses. Phase 2 is issuing the phones out now to the classrooms. We won't do that on the new builds until we have the new buildings. And then the interactive whiteboards, which have all been deployed and are all up and running, okay? Canutillo High School, so let's attack Canutillo High School first. So of course, we have the work that is ongoing there, the safety and security, which is the vestibule, public announcement system, fire alarm system. We have the roofing repairs, new cooling towers, boilers, heat pumps, et cetera, new wireless access points. Right now in this quarter, in the fourth quarter, we concentrated on the cooling tower pad, which the cooling tower enclosure is being erected. We have 3 new boilers that have been installed in the mechanical room. We have a pedestrian sidewalk that is at the front northeast entrance of the school. Then the gas line, when we got into this program with Texas Gas, they found out that there's a very low pressure that wasn't able to sustain the boilers. And so we're going to need a new meter. And so instead of doing a new meter, they said if we can have an easement through the property at CMS, we can increase the pressure for the entire area around, and that would fix it. So that's also on your agenda today for approval. The next slide is just pictures of the boiler prep. They're laying the pads down. The new boilers were installed. You get a picture of that new pedestrian walkway. You can see in the lower left that cooling tower enclosure is coming to fruition. And we sequence these to minimize any disruption to the campus. So we haven't worked on the inside of the campus. Beginning this next quarter in intersession, we will now start moving into the campus. We're going to do some large areas during intersession, and that's really replacing heat pumps. So there's heat pumps throughout the system. So we're going to be replacing heat pumps, putting isolation valves in the large areas, and then during the summer in the classrooms, we're going to phase those to make sure we don't interrupt instruction at all. It makes it a little bit longer, but it's better for the student. If we move to Canutillo Elementary School on the next page, so exterior painting is all underway. They've completed the entire building with the exception of the front facade. Roof demolition on phase 1 has begun, and they've begun laying the new 8mm TPO. Phase 1 interior flooring and paint are complete now, and the fire alarm inspections are being coordinated so that we can close that phase of the building and move on to the next phase. Like I said, all these are being phased so that we don't interrupt instruction time. That's the most important thing, is we don't interrupt any instruction time. So you can see the green highlighted area, that's phase 1, that's where they're at right now, and by now they're pretty complete. They've moved on to a new one. If you look at the pictures there's the new roof on the new phase. The exterior paint, the elastomeric paint, making it watertight, the CMU watertight. Updated fire alarm components. The RTUs were there for phase 1, so they began installing them. This campus has both heating and cooling on the RTUs existing, so we didn't have to run any additional gas. There's new flooring that's being laid in those classrooms, replacing all the carpet, and of course all the interior paint is ongoing. At Childress Elementary, if you look at that picture of the site plan, you can see the green highlighted area. That's phase 1. They started to install all the phase 1 RTUs. There is not gas in those RTUs, the existing RTUs, so they had to run gas up into there. We had an approved contingency to use for upgraded flooring. They were replacing the carpet up to the VCT, but when I saw it, I said, it doesn't look good, and I talked to Dr. Rico. We went out there. Dr. Rico agreed we should do flooring for the entire, so it didn't look like hodgepodge, like capirotada, for lack of a better term. And then, of course, you all approved the change order for the new basketball court, and when we issued the notice to proceed, they started sending pictures that they were already uprooting that. That back blacktop came up like like nothing. It was just barely holding on to the dirt. So that was a very good call on your part. Childress, if you look at the next page, we'll look at the pictures. HVAC installations ongoing. Of course, they're doing all the fire alarm upgrades. They've had to do some gas line work so that we have heat in those RTUs as well. And then the roof repairs. At Damian Elementary School, if you look at your site plan, you can see the green highlighted area where they're at right now. There is a new student restroom being erected in that phase. The HVAC systems, of course, are being upgraded, along with the public announce system and the fire alarm system. Roofing repairs are ongoing. Of course, we're going to keep phasing these so we don't interrupt instruction time. If you look at the pictures, you can see the new restroom being dried in, the public announce system and fire alarm installation, all the RTUs going in. They're painting the entire interior. And then the controls, that building automated system that works hand in hand with the HVAC system to make sure that it's cool when it's supposed to be and it's warm when it's supposed to be. All those are coming online in phase 1, and I believe we've already passed inspection and have moved over to phase 2 on that one as of today. At Garcia Elementary, you can see the highlighted areas on your site plan. Work includes rooftop unit installations, restroom constructions on both ends of 200 and 300, roofing repairs, PA and FA rough-ins, and then we had to structurally reinforce the building for the new HVAC units. That has been completed in phase 1. And there's some pictures on that next page that show you the new staff restroom being dried in. You can see the curb prep for the new RTUs. The RTUs are being installed. The ducts are being installed. All that is part of phase 1 and will be part of the next phases as well. So they're moving and shaking it. Reyes Elementary School. Reyes, of course, is focused on that backup chiller, that backup cooling infrastructure, the need for a redundant chiller in case the primary chiller went down. And then, of course, all the security upgrades that we have already completed. The concrete pad has been laid for the chiller, and it's scheduled for installation this month. And you can see on the next page all the pictures of the chiller being delivered, the new breaker for the chiller to support the electrical load on the chiller, the concrete pad being laid, and we anticipate the chiller being completed by the end of January. Okay, let's talk about the new build. So the early college high school remains permit dependent. We ran into a little bit of a problem because we didn't have a ground lease executed. And we had a ground lease executed. And so the city, I'm taking a little bit of your time here because I need to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? So we got the ground lease over to the city. We got proof of ownership over to them. And we got the detailed site plan over to them. And they want a letter showing that Dr. Borrego is the signatory for Canutillo ISD and that Dr. Serrata is the signatory for the community college. I've never heard of anything like that. Never heard anything like that. I mean, anybody knows that Dr. Borrego has been all over the news. He's the new superintendent, and everybody should know that Dr. Serrata is the president of EPCC. But the city wants that in writing. So we're working on those. It's not hard to get it from Canutillo. It's hard for me to get it from EPCC. I don't have any weight. So those are some of the things that I will be talking to administration about on how we can encourage them to get us that letter over. In the meantime, however, we are doing our best to get a grading permit over there and also start looking at underground utilities. For that, we've cleared out 5 of the portables, working with Mr. Frank Clark, the principal at Northwest Early College High School, to give us 5 portables that we could clear out and then get demoed so that we can start with the grading and underground utilities. Of course, we do that. Before we do that, we make sure there's no asbestos present, and that has been successful. If you look at the pictures from there, the demo prep is ready. We're just ready, waiting for that permit to come, and then we'll get started at Northwest Early College High School. At Canutillo Middle School. So your early GMP approval allowed us to go out, or allowed the general contractor to go out and start purchasing all the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing equipment. To date, 75% of that has been received at the subcontractor's warehouse, which is really good. We locked in the price, and so we got that. Civil materials are also being staged, base course and all that. Vertical construction is going to remain pending until we get a permit. We were there on Friday of this last week and walked the papers, worked through the different departments, and we're just waiting for them to send it back as approved. You can see on that next page some of the grading, grubbing that has been done and the early grading work and the base course being delivered. Our contractor is chomping at the bit on that one. A major milestone for both them and AMS and CMS, and you can go to CMS, is that we do have the grading permit approved and we have the foundation permit approved. So there is ongoing construction there happening right now. We just can't go vertical yet without the permit. And so you look at the next page, you can see that at the Alderete Middle School site, we are having, they're beginning to grade. That is a very significant amount of work for that site. You know, you've been out there. There is a steep drop from the top down to the bottom, and they're working on that as we speak. Davenport Elementary, last but not least, earthwork has begun to prepare for the MEP underground inspections. The remaining critical item on this, again, we were there on Thursday of this past week, and we were walking it through the city and sitting down with the main guy, Daniel Chavira, and showing them how some of their comments are repetitive, and we've been very, good about answering them and answering them on time. And so we feel that we're at a good place there right now, and we should get that permit within this next week or so. And you can see the earthwork that they've done already out there. Again, he's got 2 building pads already constructed, and so he's saying, I'm just waiting for that permit and we can start going vertical. I know that is a very sore point for the community because they want to see their bond dollars at work. And so I just want to highlight that is a risk that we're incurring right now. And that's the end of my report, and I can take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Ms. Borrego?
Mine's not a question, it's more of a comment. So, Ms. Maldonado, I appreciate all the questions that you asked, and I too was concerned about the permit, because I do think the community wants to see everything going on. After I read your comments, I have one very good friend that is in the home building, a big home builder here in town, and another friend that's the general manager for homes that are being built on the west side. And I just called them, to say hello, Happy New Year, but to ask them, hey, are you having problems with permits? I mean, they went on for like 30 minutes on, it's a big deal here in the city. Permits are very hard. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of bureaucracy. that people are having to go through, builders are having to go through. But I think not just builders, what they were talking about is even like HVAC, all kinds of things that are going on. So I just wanted to let Superintendent Borrego know and the board know that it's just not Mr. Presidio over here. It's happening across the city.
Yeah.
So that's just my 2 cents.
There's a high review volume. They do have a big review volume, the city does, and it has to work across multiple departments. So you don't just get one inspector. You get a mechanical one, you get an electrical one, you get fire, you get buildings, so it has to be routed. And so some of those things, that's the way we can help. Most of all, is what I believe is we go down there, we show up, and we say, okay, where does this need to go next? And we make sure it gets to the next person. And so we've been very just trying to work through that different. I have a meeting with District Rep 1 on the 22nd, and so I'm hoping to, again, let her know, we're having difficulty getting these. She's been to the groundbreaking ceremonies, and she's excited about this program, but I want to see if she can encourage that department to start getting these permits over to us.
Ms. Maldonado?
So, Mr. Ernie, you mentioned on your report and on my the response to my letter about the gas pressure.
Yes.
So the easement is going to happen at CMS.
Yes,
But right now you mentioned about the gas pressure at CHS.
yes.
So is that going to be another easement?
No. So that easement is going to help the whole area with their gas pressure.
Okay.
So the entire footprint up to the freeway, up to I-10, so which includes CHS.
From CMS.
From
The easement will
CMS.
be at CMS, but it's going to help CHS.
Yes, because that main line just doesn't run from Strahan to Upper Valley. It keeps going. They just have to get us to approve the easement so that they can lay our part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't get gas from that line. We'll get gas from a line that's farther up north for the building, CMS building.
Okay, but then the pressure will be
Yes,
sufficient
sufficient.
for both campuses.
Correct, yes.
And then the other question, you mentioned about capirotada. So one of my questions for you was the CES flooring.
Yes.
And your response was that it's not going to be in the cafeteria, the kitchen, the stage, electrical room. Is it going to be in the hallways, the new flooring?
You know what, I'm going to ask Anthony to come up here.
Because I don't want capirotada.
Good evening. No,
Hi.
it will not be in the hallways, ma'am.
So then we're going to have capirotada at CES.
Well, you have the hallways will be a VCT, and then the classrooms will be an LVT.
So if you go back to the slide, please, Adrian, on CES, and you look at the flooring, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Looks like wood.
Yes,
That's in the classrooms.
correct.
What's going to be in the hallways of those classrooms?
It'll be the existing floor.
The existing VCT.
You're kidding me.
What hallways in the classroom?
The classrooms are here, and you have a wing, and then there's a
Yes.
little hallway right
Corridors, right?
there. Corridors.
Yes, those will still remain VCT.
As they are right now.
Yes,
And all the hallways that go from the entrance all the way to the cafeteria is going to remain the same.
yes,
And when you're talking about the entryway, you're talking just about it's going to be the vestibule,
Yes.
and then entrance to the office. That's all going to have this kind of flooring,
New flooring.
yes. That's going to have new flooring.
but like the one in the picture,
Yes, yes.
it's going to be capirotada, guys. Come on. You have this beautiful flooring in the classrooms. Then you walk out to this blah in the little corridors and in the hallways. I can see the cafeteria possibly leaving it as is, but I can't see the rest.
Okay, we
I
can
mean,
look
you're not
into-
going to have capirotada at Bill Childress, but you're going to have capirotada at CES.
Well, so at Childress, the hallways, corridors are still remaining VCT. It's just the classrooms. So the classrooms had carpet up to a little point where it was VCT near the sinks and things like that, where they didn't put carpet. So we were gonna have LVT and then VCT. So we decided just do all LVT up to the door frame, and then it's VCT all through the corridor.
Ms. Maldonado, let me ask a question. Maybe you can
Hold on.
double answer that.
Last one. Well, not last one. In the library, it's got carpet. Are you removing that carpet as well?
Yes.
At CES Library?
Yes.
Yes.
It's gonna be removed. We're gonna put the new VCT.
The one that's in the
LVT.
picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm not happy with the capirotada that you're proposing right now. Not at all. It needs to be uniform.
Okay, we'll note that, Ms. Maldonado, and then I'll work with administration to see if they want to change that. That will be an owner-initiated change order.
Mr. Ortiz, one quick comment. What is the difference in cost between the VCT and the material that we're installing in the vestibule? I know we need it in the vestibule because that's taking a new configuration for safety purposes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the classrooms, obviously, it's worn out because all the kids are there.
The carpet,
Correct.
it had carpet.
That had carpet, correct? So is the existing vinyl composition tile is still in pretty good shape?
Yes, it's still in good shape. It was part of the assessment.
Canutillo Elementary School is in
It,
fantastic
it's
shape.
always been in top shape. That's
Yeah,
cool, it's
fantastic
well
shape.
maintained. The administration does a wonderful job. It's always clean, polished. It looks fantastic. Yes, custodial. Head custodian, correct. I stand corrected. So let us review it, give us a price, and Ms. Maldonado, I recommend that we walk it one more time. And,
It's embedded in my head.
okay,
I
I'm
walked
sure
it
it
for
is.
almost 28 years.
I'm sure it is, but let's walk it, and then if you're not satisfied with that, let us discuss it, and we'll see what we can do.
So every Friday, we offer tours to administration, whoever wants to walk it. If you'd like to walk it on Friday, we have, phase one is completed. The LVT in the classroom with the VCT, so that you can look at it.
Which brings me to the other question. So in your picture you're showing, which is the pre-K kinder hallway.
Yes.
That's phase one. And then my understanding is you were going to move to third wing.
Yes.
Third grade. So the roofing. The roofing is being done as you're working in that particular wing?
That's correct, yes. The
Okay.
existing TPO is being demoed out, and a new TPO is being installed.
So it's by phase or by
By
wing?
phase, yes.
Not the whole thing?
Not the whole thing.
Okay, but everything's going to be, it's going to include it's going to eventually be the whole thing?
Yes.
Once you're done with everything,
That's
correct?
Yes.
Okay. The ceiling panels or the ceiling tiles, are those being replaced? Because you know that some of them have,
Yeah, the ones that are
leaks.
stained are being replaced.
the stained ones are being
Yes,
replaced?
yes.
Okay. And then you mentioned phones in the classroom. Are they actually going to have phones like EPISD in the
Correct.
classroom?
Yes,
Oh.
yes. They do have them in the classroom
Phones?
WebEx.
right now. WebEx,
Well, I know that El Paso had them, but we never, when I was there, we didn't have phones. We had a button.
you have them now.
Really?
Yes.
Huh?
Part of the WebEx.
It was part of the
Okay.
safety and security project that we
Okay.
took on very early, yes.
Thank you. And then the last question, yes. The last question was, you mentioned owner's contingency versus program contingency.
Correct.
So the owner's contingency, is that by project? Each project has an owner's contingency?
That's correct,
So every single project that we have has an owner's contingency?
correct, yes.
And that owner's contingency is to be used when the unforeseen happens for that
Either-
project?
Yes, either that, or if administration directed me to say, look into replacing all the corridors with LVT, then that would be an owner-initiated change order that would come out of owner's contingency.
And the change order, it's always a cost
Yes,
for the change orders?
yes, uh-huh.
An increase? Okay,
Mr. Chair?
thank you.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chair?
Ms. Barnes?
To piggyback on her last question, so I see that, of course, the bond was 379. That was our total amount. But if you actually look at our total for our budget, it's 379, $284,980.
Yes, uh-huh.
Where is that $284,980 coming from? Because we don't have it.
So the budget that's managed by Presidio is 379, 284, 980.
Correct.
Right.
So where is that $284,980 going to come from if the bond was only for 379 flat?
If you look at that slide right, the very first one, Mr. Ortiz? Right there. You see where you have 379? But then you look at the first line item for 10 projects, and it's 379, 284, 980.
So I'm just saying, who's covering is that coming from us as the owner, that $284,980?
No, I believe that was in the bond referendum, but I have David here, my program controls here.
Hi, David.
So the 284,980. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, there's,
So so it is 379 and change. We didn't put all of it. And the 284,000 does come from added scope that we had to do in the beginning. We had there was the IT one that we had to do. I forgot. True North?
True North.
Yeah, we had some added scope as soon as we took over on this bond.
Okay, but your question is, the bond referendum was 379 million.
that's the money that we passed
Right.
from the taxpayers,
Let me
correct?
Let me get you a detailed description of that.
Thank you. I would appreciate that, because I worry, I look at that number and go, we don't have $284,000 to spend additional on projects. So where is that coming from?
Ms. Barnes, I think that's a question we need to ask our administration.
Yes, well, but I think, I don't know if this number, and if it has, I'm sorry that I have not asked this previously, but it just stuck out to me today, and I thought, where is that extra money coming from? Because we're in a deficit, so we don't have $284,000 laying around to finish these projects, so we need to make sure it stays under the budgeted amount that we passed with the bond. So, that was my first question.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
None of this money was taken out from the deficit or anything. This is all dealing within the same 694.
Correct.
Bond fund, so it's within there. I'll get a detail for Ernie so we can go ahead and submit that on the
Thank you. I
Thursday
appreciate
packet.
that. My second thing, when you were going over the timeline, you had mentioned you've been meeting with CBAC, and I believe you meet with them quarterly. Is that correct? We have never received any of the CBAC meeting minutes, and in the regulation, it states that we're supposed to receive those. So I'm just wondering about that.
So one of the I don't know if it's a misconception, but it's important to note that the CBAC is not a Presidio-run committee.
Okay,
So
good to know.
They're a district-run committee. And so we post the CBAC meeting minutes on our bond website.
Okay.
Not on ours, on the district's bond website. And then by regulation, they're supposed to report to you at least once or twice a year.
The CBAC is, correct?
Yes. And so I don't direct them, though.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ernie.
Hi,
Hello,
Ms. Barnes.
Gustavo.
Hello, how are you?
Good, you?
So we do have the minutes. We have to wait for them, just like you do, to approve them.
That's fine.
Once they're done, I'll be happy to provide them to you.
So they've met quarterly, though, so that means that they've had 4 meetings, correct?
They did have a lapse in approving some of them.
Okay.
So I'll gather them. I'll speak to the secretary of the CBAC and make sure you get those.
And are we just going to be getting the minutes, or are we going to actually be getting a report from them?
I'll ask that question of them
Okay.
as well. They're required to report to you.
Yes, I believe off of memory that they're supposed to report to us.
So,
I know
Ms.
for sure the
Barnes,
minutes.
And they
but-
have a chairperson. They
They do.
elected a chairperson. So I believe it's up to the chairperson, from what I recall being in CPAC, to report to the board. They
Yes.
need to literally report to the board.
And
Right.
I just want to make it clear.
or
I've-
provide a report.
yeah, or
but
it
not
doesn't
just
have
the
to-
provided.
minutes.
And I believe one was provided this summer, in writing in one of your Thursday package.
Perfect. So if we can just check in on that, I would appreciate
Sure,
that.
no problem.
My other questions, sorry. You mentioned on a couple of the different campuses that for the, I think it was the what are they called? RTUs, rooftop units.
Yes.
That we had to run some gas lines in order for those to be put in. Was there an extra cost for those gas lines to be put in?
No, it was part of the design.
Okay, and that was the same question for that one. And then, sorry. For the new builds, so we said that we're awaiting the permits. Are those the permits for the utilities to be run?
No, that would be, so that utilities are an agreement with us, between the district and the utility, El Paso Electric or whatever. We're working on those agreements.
Okay.
We've sent those over. We've received comments back. We've answered and sent them back over to them. So we're just waiting for them to finalize those agreements, and then they will bring the utilities.
And
up.
so these permits are for what in particular that we're waiting on?
So building.
But
for
the actual building
permits,
of the
vertical,
structure,
Yeah, going
okay.
up, yes.
And I would assume that the utilities have to be in place prior to the vertical structure going up. Am I wrong on that? I'm not an architect, so.
Correct. Well, the general contractor will need utilities in order to run their heavy equipment, but that's on them. They have to incur that cost.
Okay.
Utilities for the building come at a time when they're starting the underground work and things like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they'll be done
They'll
simultaneously.
be done simultaneously, yes. Correct.
And that is the last of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
When we asked for the bond, we told the community that we would be transparent with them as to, how everything was proceeding.
Yes.
So my question to you is, how are we getting updates out to the community, and are we doing it via different modes,
Yeah, so our cadence has been to have the CBAC meeting, which is really instrumental in being our voice out to the community. We have our, first and foremost, we have our bond website, which if you sign up, you get regular updates every time we update the website.
So I signed up, and I haven't received updates in the last 2 months.
Okay. We may not have done any updates in the last 2 months, so once we approve, you don't approve this, but once we give the quarterly update, then we go update our bond website. And so you'll probably get an email within the next week or so. Second thing is, we do the CBAC meeting. Right after CBAC, we hold a community meeting in person, and then we have a virtual community meeting, which the advertisement for that goes out digitally through social media websites, emails. We try to cast a wide net. We found that the in-person meetings were not as popular as the virtual meetings because I can go home and sit in my pajamas and listen to somebody, through a computer screen, rather than having to come to Canutillo High School and fight the traffic and parking and all that. So we've been very successful in those virtual meetings. I think the last one we did was in September, and we had like 75 people on. Other than that's the biggest, those are the biggest mouthpieces that get the message out.
And Mr. Ortega, on top of the organized meetings that we have through Presidio for these updates, my office and staff from Presidio continue to promote updates to the bond via social media, videos, and other meetings that they have, like the furniture fair, and other opportunities that there are for engagement with the public. And those are pretty well attended, and the engagement is really high when it comes to social media.
If I may, Mr. Chair, at one point there was like a mailer that went out with an update. Was that from Presidio or was that from the district?
It was from the district, funded through the bond as well.
Okay, and I've only personally seen one. Now, I will say my husband checks the mail, so I may not just be getting them. But have we only done one, or has there been more than one?
There's been more than one.
He's in trouble.
Your husband? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's missed a couple.
Because I haven't seen them. Okay, thank you.
One comment that I have, I know there's been some items that have come up. They've asked me questions, what are we doing on Upper Valley Road and Aircraft? And I think we posted the intersections that we're gonna open that traffic. That most of the work that is being performed right at that intersection is being done by TxDOT, correct?
That's correct.
So as soon as they're done with that work, we're gonna open up, have a transition from Upper Valley into Aircraft. That's one thing. We're in a position, everybody's complaining that, it's affecting the time they get from home to the school. Guys, the reality of things is happening all over town. Look at Donovan. Okay? Donovan is packed all the way from, I'm going to say, from Bosque all the way down to Donovan. From Aircraft, even to where we turn to go to the high school, to the Loop, to Rubalcaba. Guys, it is a fact that we're changing. And we just need to get TechSAT involved because we're gonna need their help. And if people are complaining because it's going to affect their flow of traffic, I'm sorry. It is happening. It's not only in Canutillo, it's happening in the west side, it's happening in the northeast. It's just part of growing. What do we call it, growing pains?
Growing pains, that's right.
You know, it is what it is.
Yes.
But Mr. Ortiz, I have a couple of comments, and I want you to bear with me. You know, the experience that we have is that it shouldn't take 4 months to get a building permit. And I'm very concerned that the longer it stays there, the less the inspector look at the drawings and review the drawings. Chavira is a great guy, so we need to get in there and really push him hard. And that's where you need to communicate to the district, to Dr. Borrego, that now that he's here, to get the influence that we have with the mayor, with anybody there that can help us open those schools on time. Because if we don't get started going vertical, it's going to take us another 4 months. It's taken 4 months already. So for all we know, it's going to take us 2 years just to open the first school. Maybe it's going to take us longer since we don't have a permit. But the reality of things is that 4 months to get a building permit, never heard of it. And I know we're dealing with 2 out-of-town firms. Bring them in, take them with you,
Yeah, they've been here.
okay? And let them push the buttons. I mean, get in front of the building inspector and let them know that, you know, we are in need of 2 schools, 2 facilities. Right now, the kids that are attending Canutillo Middle School and the high school, they're not renovating the roofs. You know, so when it rains, you know, we're gonna have a lot of leaks, guys.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. We're gonna have problems. So it is for the best interest of the district to push some of these politicians to have their ear and make sure that they help us open those campuses on time. 4 months is too long, Mr. Ortiz.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir.
And one thing that I like to see is update your website as fast as you can. I know that in the past it's been kind of slow, but now that we have momentum, update it with anything and everything that is being brought up to you and your administration. And Dr. Borrego, by all means, take a look at that. Have somebody look at that website and improve it so that we communicate with our community of the progress that we're making. And yes, I'd rather not send a mail out. As we know, mail outs are expensive. So let's do it through the means that we have through Presidio. Please. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ms. Maldonado.
So, Mr. Ortiz, I know that this is kind of a question that you might not, you probably have an opinion about it, but not the correct. Is all the opposition that we're receiving from AMS and CMS, because I haven't heard of a lot of opposition for Deanna Davenport. Do you think that is affecting the permits? Because it's like you said,
I will tell you, it's
political.
definitely affecting the permits.
Yes. And I agree with Mr. Martinez. The sites were, everybody knew where they were going to be located. Yes, we did. We did. The community knew. The community knew, Ms. Barnes. But if you attended the meetings that they had prior, Presidio, at the high school, at different campuses, which I did. Carolina, you were there too. You knew where the sites were. So those that were interested were there, and they knew where the sites were. You know, AMS resident, the ones that are up here, maybe they don't have kids, but how can you not know that Canutillo is planning on having a school built? The whole board was there. I walked through it, and it said, future site of AMS. So to me, you know what you want to know. And now that you found out, you know, you're trying to postpone it or sway it or whatever. But I agree with Mr. Martinez. People knew what was happening in Canutillo. And I also agree with him as far as the traffic flow. We have no control. Donovan, like you said, all the way from Mulberry to Sunland Park Drive on Donovan, one lane, cones, no construction I called and complained yesterday because it's a hazard, you know? But we don't have control over the traffic flow, you know? And yes, TxDOT has to help out. But I was just curious if all this opposition is one of the reasons that we still don't have these permits.
Yes.
And I felt it was.
Yes.
May I have, Mr. Chair?
Ms. Borrego?
Point of clarity, though, and the only one I'm aware of is Alderete Middle School. They're not opposed to the school. They're very excited about the school. It's, we'll go back to the number one problem where things fail, including marriages, is communication. Before Christmas, I reached out. Board president, did I not? And to our interim superintendent. And I said, there is a problem. We've got to make sure we have a meeting. We're almost at the end of January. We're going to have the meeting Saturday, which, by the way, I'm not going to be there because we didn't coordinate the dates, but it's okay. But the meeting's going to happen. The community just wants clarification. Now, the people that I've gotten to speak with, I spend a lot of time in my yard and stuff, and they stop by. Once I explained to them, I sat down with Mr. Presidio and said, hey, tell me about this, tell me about this. Once I explained to them about the buses and that there's enough room for the buses to go in and yada, yada, they're fine. The ones with kids and our older citizens, it's lack of communication. When we did the groundbreaking, I also asked the administration here, I said, pass out flyers at the groundbreaking so we can show. I never saw those flyers. I asked, we looked. Once I tell people what the real reality is, they're okay with it. They just want, and of course, you know, when you look at Cimarron, and I live there, so I know, and there's traffic everywhere. I agree with you. I avoid those times. Thank God I'm retired, right? But there is traffic. But what they're concerned about, Cimarron is a huge development. People don't realize if you keep going, it keeps going and going and going. There's 2 outlets to that neighborhood, too. And unfortunately, when they designed that, whoever did, Cimarron Canyon, it's weird because when you go in, it's 1 lane, and then like 20 feet, it opens into 2, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, no, here the same on the other one, on Paseo del Norte. That's what they're concerned about, because the elderly are concerned about, are the buses going to be stopped there on that road and then an ambulance couldn't get in, or et cetera. Now that they know that there's an entrance and they've been promised that there's going to be, where's Chief? Chief. They've been promised that there's going to be control like they have it at Reyes. And look, I go through Reyes all the time. It's 2 minutes. I mean, the traffic is well controlled. The police officers there. Yes, is there a lot of traffic? It takes me 2 minutes to go through. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Sergio, is that there's traffic. But I think that we haven't done a stellar job or even a good job at communicating with the people. We really haven't.
Through the chair.
Thank you, Ms. Borrego.
So, Ms. Borrego, in December's meeting, there were some residents from that area that were here.
Yes.
And they heard and they spoke directly to Mr. Ortiz. And so they were well aware that that a meeting was going to be planned at that time in December. I'm assuming that between Presidio, the district, and those people.
It was the district. Because they already wanted it the first week of January.
Point of order.
That set the date for the 24th. Mind you, the district was closed for 2 weeks in Christmas. So, yes, we could probably use some more communication. But I recall in December's meeting, those people here, because they spoke up. They spoke up in the open forum. So, yes, do we need help? Do we need additional community communication? Yes, absolutely. Communication is everything, you know. So I plan on being there on Saturday. You know, so I do recommend that as many of us be there as well.
Board trustees, we need to move forward. I think we're spending a lot of time discussing, you know, things that are not in the agenda. But I know we were looking at the presentation. But I think, we can discuss this all day. I know we're meeting this coming week with the community, and we just move forward. Dr. Borrego, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. So first of all, I want to acknowledge the sense of urgency that I'm getting from this board. I understand that, we understand that schools are the anchor and the heart and soul for communities, and so it's important. But I think it's valid to acknowledge the sentiment that the community also has, and so in regards to the city, I want to assume positive intent. I want to assume that the office is overwhelmed and that they're good, hardworking people just trying to make it through the day like the rest of us. And so I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And so if anyone has to take the ownership, the district will take the ownership. We need to do a better job of communicating to the community at large, but also communicating with the city and communicating with the mayor and with the permitting office. Right? Our students are watching us. They watch how we treat each other, how we talk to each other. And so I think it's important that we set a precedent and that we set the example that, hey, when adults have cool, rational minds and we offer each other grace, that we can get the work done. So thank you for your report.
Thank you, Dr. Borrego. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Appreciate the report.
Item 5B, discussion on district-wide surplus in accordance with CI local school properties disposal. Presenter, Board President Sergio Martinez.
We have some property that we need to get rid of. I know that some of you have asked the question, how fast can we release it so that we can utilize those funds? If we can. No, that's correct. That is correct. I think we're talking about buses. Is that correct, Dr. Rico? So I think no, I don't think it was mine. I think, who brought this to the table? Ms. Ortega, was that you? So I don't know why they put my name, but, yes, please, have the floor, Ms.
Sir, good evening, Veronica Campbell with the Purchasing Department. Just for clarification, sir, we took it from your email where you had asked the item to be placed on the agenda. Okay? Thank you, sir.
We did, thank you.
Hello, Dr. Rico. Hello, Ms. Campbell. So this was brought up because I remember we had purchased some really nice buses back in the day, years ago. And there were coach buses, and I hadn't seen them, being used. So I asked Dr. Rico, where are the buses and what's happening with them? And that's when I found out that they're just sitting there pretty much losing value. So I asked him, what do you think they're worth? And he said, the last time we checked, they were worth between $60,000 to $70,000. And I believe it was 2 buses that were still going to be able to be sold, if I'm correct.
Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent, Dr. Borrego. So on the buses, we purchased a coach bus, which is one of those large that we would use for activities, and that was before Ms. Campbell or myself. I think it was the intent that instead of having to lease out buses and send them to out-of-town competitions, that we would use that. The decision at the time was to purchase that bus, which was used. The maintenance of the bus proved to be more of an issue, insuring the bus, keeping it up to standards with TxDOT standards and everything. So even before our time, the bus has been sitting there. It's that large coach bus. There is an activities bus, which you probably remember you ride to graduation in, and so those are the 2 buses we're speaking about. The smaller bus continues to be used for smaller competitions, right? So CTE, trips that we have for community members, for the board. It is used for that specific purpose. So that one is in use. The graphics are not in the best shape, so that's why it looks a little bit dilapidated. It's the El Paso Sun that will take control of everything, right? So it's in great mechanical condition, still is used. The one that we're discussing now is that large coach bus. Prior to our initial reduction in force, we used to have an individual staff member who was in charge of receiving all the surplus and also arranging for a surplus sale. Since his departure, when Mr. Vasquez was still in charge of facilities, he had tasked him with looking at what the value of that bus might have been. So prior to that, I don't know the exact, I had to look at the notes, but we're talking about right after COVID that they started to look at what is the value of that. He had indicated that he had perhaps clients that would purchase up to that amount. That amount dropped to about 50 right before I took over the department. After that, there was no more discussion about it. And then now, obviously, well, there hasn't been a discussion because there isn't an individual with that job description or that skill set. I know we responded to an email. So among the duties that Ms. Campbell was doing, I know when we had that discussion, we want to get the best value for the district. Currently, the way we dispose of property is we put them in pallets. I can talk to you about computer equipment, for example, which we also stopped doing it that way. We put them in pallets. Somebody comes in and says, I'll give you $50 for that pallet, right? And it's when we amounted the amount of per machine that we were getting was anywhere from $1 to $2. So doing it in that way was not going to provide the efficacy that we needed now with our budget the way it is. So talking to Ms. Campbell, who was coming from a district where I guess we're all familiar with eBay, so very similar way of disposing of property in federal, state, and local governments. We've engaged with that vendor. It's not an overnight process, right? A lot of boxes have to be checked. I know Ms. Campbell was working with a lot of the procurement of the bond. We were working with that, so this was not a side project, but it was something that was not of immediate concern at the time. So we were working with those vendors to get them onboarded. She did a great job and was able to procure the service, was able to start onboarding that vendor. And we have a meeting with that vendor so that they start looking at it. By no means are we saying this bus is going to be sold for $100,000 tomorrow. We don't know. It really depends on the market, right? So I can put my car out for sale tomorrow, and somebody might say I want it for 100, or somebody might say I want it for 1,000, right? So we would be at the control of that market and whatever reserve price we put on it as well.
Right, and if I can add to that, you may want to look at the current vendor that we will be bringing on board. It's GovDeals, and they do have a website. One of the things that I did do is reach out to Haiti, who will be our representative, is that we will be in charge of staging everything. They come in and they do all the pictures, they deal with the vendors, they deal with all the transactions. One of the things that I did also do is I did a market analysis on a current value of the current bus that we have. Now, I don't know all the specifics as to how much mileage we have, what is the usage, the current condition of the bus itself, but by looking at the year and all that good stuff, we're looking at anywhere from 5,000 to 12,000. That's because of the way it's sitting right now. It's sitting and exposed to the elements, so there's nothing that we can do as far as selling it. We would probably just have to sell it at cost right now. There are some vendors out there that have actually upgraded their buses and put some money into it so they can be able to sell them. And so at this point, because the current situation that we're in the deficit, that would be our best bet, is just to sell it as is, so.
Ms. Ortega, if I understand correctly, you want to get rid of these two buses, correct?
My concern was that we have property, we have, even just the materials laying around.
Yes, ma'am.
And if the district can make money just to put back into the general fund, whether it be $1 or $100,000, then let's work to get that, for the community.
Yes, ma'am. And if I can add to that, we've also looked into the current market value for the scrap metal. So right now, it's going at 30 cents a pound. And so we do have a vendor, Lucero's scrap metal from out of Socorro. They will come in, bring a bin. I've also talked to Presidio and provided them with a step-by-step procedures on what to do in case we've got any contractor coming in wanting to get rid of any of our HVAC stuff or any other material that might be of value, of some value. We're not saying it's going to be a lot of money, but at least some cents or something. And so, yes, that is in the works with our, very small warehouse department, which is only a staff of 3. And so coming in and providing those procedures has been just, something that we've really got to get on the forefront and start cleaning up the district as you want. Yes, you're welcome, ma'am. Yes.
Ms. Campbell, are
Yes,
we
sir.
in a position where we can sell and advertise all of our surplus?
Right now, we are not, sir. What I can do is, this is why GovDeals is coming in. They're actually going to be managing that for us.
And when you said 12 to 15,000 one bus, is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
That's the most that we can get?
That's probably the most that we can get in the current condition that it is. But that's I'm just throwing that number because I did compare with a national bus sales, and I also looked into an additional company based out of Austin.
Okay.
So, yes, sir.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to sell those 2 items?
Hold on. There's no motion.
So if I can clarify, CI local that is at the discretion of the superintendent by us
Sure.
providing a listing to him, and then it gets reviewed at cabinet, and the superintendent at his discretion can sign off, and we start removing those items.
My question is, you said gov deals?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
is there a charge for them to come in and do this?
No, ma'am.
No charge.
No charge. They work with all government entities here in Texas and, of course, through the federal government. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for the report, Ms. Campbell.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any more questions? No? Okay. Yes, thank you.
Item number 6, consent agenda voting.
I know there's some items where you wanted to pull. Ms. Maldonado, is that correct?
Actually, I reached out to Dr. Arellano, who forwarded my questions to Ms. Pulley. And so she answered, and I believe you all have a copy of my question and the response, so I'm fine with it. Ms. Barnes also piggybacked on one of them, asking if the CAP building was complete, correct? And the response was yes. So there's no need to pull.
I move, oh, go
I'll
ahead.
second.
I move that we
Consent
approve the consent agenda
as presented.
as presented.
I'll second.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes, and I have something for the record on the minutes for September 3rd. It states that I requested a report on savings over the years, and I still have not received that from Mr. Cantu.
Ms. Borrego?
Yes.
Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes. Item number 7, executive session.
Thank you.
To consult with attorney under sections 551.071, 551.074, and 551.076 of the Texas Government Code. Item 7A, discussion and update from the legal counsel regarding D. Gonzalez versus Canutillo, CISD, cause number 2024-DV-2256, County Court at Law number 6. Item 7B, receive and discuss intruder detection audit report findings for district campus. Item 7C, discussion regarding threat of potential litigation from J. and C. Stewart, presenter Steve Blanco. Time is 8:17 p.m. Time is 9:29 p.m. Item number 8, new business. Item 8A, discussion and possible action regarding resolution and/or settlement of D. Gonzalez versus CISD, cause number 2024-DV-2256, County Court at Law number 6, presenter Steve Blanco.
Thank you, Board President Martinez, Dr. Borrego, members of the board. I gave you an update on our discussions and the mediation we held in this matter with Ms. Gonzalez. Based on our discussion, it's my belief that there's not going to be any action taken on this item, which is perfectly fine. We've not reached an agreement to resolve the lawsuit. They've asked for information from us, but it's my recommendation that you let me go back to their lawyer one more time and see what it is exactly, because they've not made us a final demand that they want to do. So unless somebody has a question or would like to make a motion, we don't need any action on this item.
Any comments? No comments? Next.
Item AB, district report, an intruder detection audit was conducted in the district by Region 19, ESC, Texas Education Agency, TA. Findings will be shared with the District School Safety and Security Committee and the Board of Trustees. A plan of action is in place and will be shared with the Board of Trustees.
I don't see the chief here, but you all did receive the audit report in closed session. The information was shared with you all. At this point, there's no additional action that's required on that item.
Thank you, Mr. Blanco.
Item 8C, discussion and possible action regarding threat of potential litigation from J. and C. Stewart. Presenter Steve Blanco.
Thank you. We had a lengthy discussion regarding this matter and a demand letter that was received by the district back in early November of 2025. Based on a review of the issues involved in that demand letter, the district took action, and the post on the district website that was made the subject of that demand letter was removed from the district's website. At this point, there's no additional action to be taken on this item. I don't know if the board has any questions about it.
Any comments, questions? No? Thank you.
Item 8D, discussion and final action regarding the recommendation of administration to terminate the probationary contract of Omar Gonzalez, teacher at Canutillo High School, for job abandonment without a good cause. Presenter Steve Blanco.
Thank you. At a prior meeting, the board took action to propose the termination of the probationary contract of Mr. Gonzalez for good cause, that being job abandonment, if you all remember that from the last meeting. He had an opportunity to file a request for a hearing, essentially an appeal of that proposed action. He did not file anything. The time period for him to request a review and a hearing regarding that action has passed. As a result, the board is required to take final action. So tonight, I need a motion to authorize the administration to send notice of the termination of Mr. Gonzalez's contract for good cause for the reasons that were presented to the board in the prior meeting.
So move.
I second.
We have a motion by Ms. Borrego and second by Ms. Barnes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Borrego? Yes. Ms. Maldonado?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez? Mrs. Zuniga?
Yes.
All in favor, motion passes.
That's it.
Item number 9, meeting adjournment.